Hi everyone and welcome back to another Borkno game video. Today's video is day 2. Is it worth it to try punishing Grey Raven? Today's video is not sponsored, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. One of the first things I want to talk about is the gameplay, because a lot of it is probably like, Bork, is this like Honkai Impact the Third? And after playing for it quite a while, like I played like JP, CN, and all the different things, well TW specifically, I can say that it's definitely different from most action RPGs on the gacha market, specifically because of how high polished like the gameplay feels, and mostly because of the fact that the skills are based off of combos, right? So usually you have to hit your auto attack as many times as possible in order to generate your skills. This is different from most action RPGs on the gacha market, where essentially, oh, you tap your skill 1 and then it goes on a 5-second cooldown. You tap your skill 2, then it goes on a 10-second cooldown. You drop your ult, that's on like a minute cooldown. Punishing Grey Raven, it's not like that. It's mostly like, hey, make sure to use your auto attacks as many times as possible. Generate enough combo, build up enough orbs. After you build up enough orbs and enough combo, eventually you can trigger your ult. But it all comes down to not just spamming your skills, not focusing on cooldowns, focusing on the fact that the opponent is there to kill you. It is a very unforgiving game in the later stages where the bosses will actually chunk you for half, if not a quarter of your health, or in fact just one-shot you. So it does not hold your hand, and it's really nice to see a mobile gacha game that will actually challenge you as a gamer, which is funny to say because most gacha games are pretty casual, and I have to say this one takes a different approach and tries to make it seem like you're gonna try as hard as you can in order to play this game. Now what you're seeing right here, this is known as the war zone, where essentially you're fighting waves of PvE mobs. And what was really surprising was, to me at first, I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy, you're just fighting waves, they're just gonna be sort of droneless. But there are so many of them, and there's so many things I have to pay attention to, and I was like pleasantly surprised how difficult it was. And I know it's only going to get more difficult as the game progresses. And one of the hardest things, honestly, for me for this particular war zone was keeping all of my characters alive, because the war zone sort of scores you on how much health that you have, if all of your characters stay alive, how much combo you are doing, all the dodges, all these different aspects of how fast you can clear the enemies. And it's just really nice to see a PvE game take it a step beyond when it comes to like these gameplay modes, because a lot of the times I feel like in order to be a successful gacha game, you have to have some sort of PvP, you have to have like some sort of like in-game interaction. But you can also do co-op in this game as well. There is no co-op in this Warzone mode, but there are going to be bosses which aren't like official raid bosses, but I guess you can sort of call them that because they're going to give you weapons and drops and stuff, but you unlock that later down the road. I just thought it was really cool that all of these features are available to you day one if you can go through the progression, keep grinding out the game. And what's really nice is what I heard down the road as you're playing Punishing Grey Raven, this will actually turn into more of like, hey, you log in for like 30 to 20 minutes. It's going to be a much more fast-paced game. Whereas currently, as you're starting, you're going to do a lot of grinding, a lot of prepping, and you're just going to be doing everything that you can to get your characters up to snuff in order to tackle harder content. What I really like about this game is that it knows that it's a mobile game, it knows its audience, and it knows that it's not going to make you or force you to play the game as long as possible. And I like the little victory poses. It gives like some life to the characters. And as you can see, this is my score for this particular area in the war zone. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple more things when it comes to Punishing Grey Raven, such as this dorm system. It has to be one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. And what's really funny is if you go up to the characters, you can actually give them head pats. Just note that these head pats are actually like timed. So if I give her a head pat right here, I only have one head pat left for the rest of the day. So make sure to time those appropriately, because you can actually send them to do chores and stuff. But I thought this was absolutely adorable. Usually like these features, they're like sort of idle and you don't have to pay too much attention to it. But look at them. They're like all chibi, they're all 3D. Imagine if the game looked like this, it would not set the tone appropriately. But I love how like this is a side sort of feature, and it gives like a different side to Punishing Grey Raven, not just being such a hardcore action RPG. It knows it's cutesy inside as well. Another thing that I also like was if you actually go into the gacha system right here, the rates are a little bit low, but what's really nice is that the guaranteed drops for this banner specifically is 40, and I like that. And the fact that the guaranteed drop rates is 60. And then if you go into the weapon banners, you can actually select like which banner or which weapon is going to be rate up, and then you get a guaranteed 6-star weapon or the highest rarity after 30 pulls. So that's just really nice that everything as far as like the game goes has relatively low pity, and I actually prefer low pity for my games. Granted, I dislike how low the rates are, but it is what it is because they compensate for the fact there'll be banners in the future the rates will be higher for the specific character, but it takes a longer time for you to actually pity them. So for example, you can see here it takes 80 to 100 in order to get the pity, but what happens is they increase the drop rate, so it's like 1.5% for a character. But personally speaking, it's much better to probably go for like these beginner characters or go for like the banners where it's 60 attempts. By the way, do not pull on Lee whatsoever. I'm not advising that. Wait for alpha, save your black cards if you can. And I really like this black card system as well because it can essentially be changed into any currency. The monthly pass is not too expensive, but of course, you know, topping up, it is what it is. You do what you need to do in order to play the game, right? The next couple of things that I want to talk about is like there's an actual event that's globally exclusive. You go into the event news right here, and then you go to the energy recovery operations, you scroll down. This Bloody Love costume is actually not available in other regions, and this will actually give us a way to do other things within the game. And note that it's lasting 2 weeks, so it's just nice to know that we're getting something on the launch of the game. And you can actually view the costume right now if you jump into Karenina right here, and then you go into coatings. I like how you can also view all the different skins for the characters, right? This is going to be the special skin Bloody Love, and I feel like I just want it even though I don't have Karenina, just so I can say like I have this skin in particular. I'm kind of curious because there are different versions of the characters. Does A rank Karenina also have this? So if I go into her coatings right here, no, she does not. So that's going to be the S rank version. Maybe they'll do something to, you know, make it more available to everyone else. Another thing that I wanted to take a look at was PGR's like Twitter page. So they provided guides on what you need to do. They're doing giveaways and everything. But what's really nice is they actually took the effort to make sure like the launch for this game was good. There weren't any issues as far as like the servers not working. They had to do patches and stuff. Everything was working from the get-go, and that's just really nice to know that the launch was successful. And there's no one like Nexon or Netmarble or some like company, some publisher that holds like the rings to this game. The developers are on board, and everything that we do in the game is essentially controlled by the developers, and they're always posting dev blogs for this game so we can give them feedback on how we think things are going. And what's really nice is the progression system is pretty straightforward. If you look at it, the top like pretty much 3 pieces, they're all HP based, right? And then all the bottom pieces, they're actually going to be all attack and defense based, right? So this is attack and defense, and this is HP and crit. What's really funny is like all of like the weapons like we talked about earlier, recycle them. So if you jump into the main menu and you go into items, you can essentially like change them out for better things. You need 3 copies of the same rarity. I know it can be a little bit annoying, but it's just nice that they actually have like this recycle feature available like within the game. And another thing that I really liked was when you jump into the mail, you go to the S rank constructs right here, they actually gave us a selector. And what's cool about the selector was it wasn't like, oh, we're only going to give you access to some of the S ranks. They gave you access to every single S rank that's available within the game on launch. And not a lot of games can do that, you know? They're just like, we're just going to give you like all of the best characters, and we're going to let you pick on day 1. So all of these characters, you could get them, you could try them. I made a couple of accounts just to see how each one would feel. Kamui Tenebrion is the character that I advise folks to use in case you want someone who's pretty fun as a tank and very useful throughout the entire future of the game. But overall, when it comes to PGR, I just like how everything is presented. Granted, the text is a bit small. I do agree with that statement. You don't have to watch guides for this game because mostly all you have to do is keep going through story, keep pushing your resources, and just keep upgrading your gear on your characters, like specifically the memories and weapons, and you'll be good to go. And you only have to raise 3 characters at the start of the game. You can build more characters in the future, and what's really nice is you can also get like some shards for most of the A rank characters. And later on, once you unlock harder features of the game, such as the Phantom Pain Cage, you can actually get ranks or shards for, you know, higher tier characters and unlock them that way. So that is pretty cool. Overall, I don't think this is a perfect perfect game because there's definitely some things that can be fixed UI wise, but when it comes to like the actual core gameplay, what its foundation is set upon, I really enjoy it, and I can't wait to see what holds for the future of this game. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 25,000 subs, we'll be doing a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Gotta give the pats first. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.